May 8, 1942, off the coast of Papua New Guinea. The Pacific sky stretches endlessly, a canvas of clouds hiding danger in its folds. 8 American SBD-3 Dauntless dive bombers carve through the air, their engines humming with purpose. These men, led by Lieutenant Stanley Swede, Vejtasa, are on high alert, scanning for the sleek Nakajima B-5N2, Kate, torpedo bombers rumored to be prowling nearby. But what lurks in the distance is far deadlier. A swarm of 9 Mitsubishi A-6M-0s, the most feared fighters of the Imperial Japanese Navy, slicing through the clouds like sharks in the deep. It's clear, nothing but clouds. Over, the radio crackles, but the calm is a lie. High above the shimmering waters, Lieutenant Vejtasa's heart pounds in his chest. His eyes dart across the horizon, every nerve screaming for vigilance. The Dauntless is a bomber built for precision strikes, not dogfights. Its sluggish frame is no match for the agile Zeros, and Vejtasa knows it. Yet duty binds him to his crew, his plane, and the mission. "Lieutenant, do you see anything from your side?" His wingman's voice cuts through. "Clear. Over," Vejtasa replies, his voice steady despite the knot in his gut. But as he glances over his shoulder, his blood runs cold. 9 Zeros, their sleek forms glinting in the sunlight, are bearing down on them. Death on wings. "Bandits, 6 o'clock!" The shout erupts over the radio and chaos explodes. "Shot I-2, take the left. Shot I-3, take the right," Vejtasa barks, his mind racing. "Okay, gentlemen, this is it. Let's go." He yanks the stick, plunging his Dauntless into a gut-wrenching dive. The world blurs as the plane screams downward, but the Zeros are relentless. Behind him, pandemonium reigns. "Zero coming in from behind, we're hit," a voice cries, laced with terror. Vejtasa glances back, his heart sinking as 3 of his comrades' planes erupt in flames, spiraling toward the sea. The rest are sitting ducks, outclassed in every way: speed, maneuverability, firepower. The odds are a cruel joke. "Swede, a Zero's turning toward us." Frank, his rear gunner, shouts from the back. "Confirmed, hold on." Vejtasa grits his teeth, his hands steady on the controls. Out of options, he makes a desperate call. He banks the Dauntless hard, turning to face the enemy head-on. The Zero charges, its pilot confident, its 20 cannons gleaming with menace. In that split second, a wild idea sparks in Vejtasa's mind, a gamble born of desperation and defiance. The 2 planes hurtle toward each other, closing the distance at breakneck speed. Vejtasa's heart thunders, but his focus is razor-sharp. He pulls the trigger early, unleashing a storm of .50 caliber bullets in a Hail Mary burst. The Zero fires back, 20 shells streaking through the sky, aimed straight for the Dauntless's nose. Vejtasa's breath catches as the deadly rounds zip past, missing his cockpit by inches. He banks slightly left, keeping the nose trained on the enemy, drifting across the air like a matador dodging a charging bull. The Zero roars past, its shots missing entirely. "Come on, Frank, he's yours," Vejtasa yells. Frank opens fire, the rear guns roaring, but the Zero twists out of range, untouched. Vejtasa's pulse races, disbelief mixing with a surge of hope. It worked. This time, but the fight is far from over. In the distance, the Zeros regroup, their silhouettes dark against the clouds. "Second Zero coming in from behind," Frank warns, his voice tight with fear. Then a third Zero dives from above, turning the odds from impossible to apocalyptic. Vejtasa's mind spins, his plane's limitations screaming in his head. Weaker guns, slower speed, no backup. He's a boxer in the ring with 3 heavyweights, and the bell isn't ringing. "Take a deep breath, Frank. We're pulling some G's," Vejtasa shouts, his voice steady but his heart pounding like a war drum. He slams the air brakes, slowing the Dauntless to a near crawl. In dogfighting, speed is life, but Vejtasa's betting on the Zero's strength becoming its weakness. The first Zero charges, cannons blazing. Vejtasa fires back, praying for a miracle, but the bullets miss. The enemy's 20 shells scream toward him, and he yanks the stick hard left. The Dauntless groans under 10 Gs, crushing Vejtasa and Frank into their seats. The Zero's shots miss by a hair, the enemy roaring past. "Take him from the back," Vejtasa shouts. He keeps the turn tight, blood rushing to his feet, the seconds stretching into eternity. Frank's guns erupt, .50 caliber rounds tearing into the Zero's tail. The Japanese plane staggers, black smoke billowing as it turns for home. "Zero's down," Frank yells, his voice a mix of shock and triumph. No time to celebrate. The second Zero is back, 7.7 rounds pinging off the Dauntless's fuselage. Vejtasa jinks to the side, dodging as the enemy streaks past. Before he can catch his breath, the third Zero dives in, its cannons spitting fire. "Frank, hold on," Vejtasa cries, pulling the Dauntless into a vertical climb, daring the Zero to follow. The Japanese pilot hesitates, knowing a dive could rip his wings apart, and breaks off. But the Zeros aren't done. They circle like wolves, lining up for another strike. Vejtasa pushes his plane to its limits, pulling punishing turns that make his vision blur. The G-forces are brutal, tossing Frank side to side, rendering his guns useless. The Zeros attack from every angle, above, below, left, right, relentless, inescapable. Yet Vejtasa weaves through their fire, his Dauntless dancing on the edge of destruction. The heavy bomber's sluggish rolls become its strength, pulling tighter turns than the nimble Zeros can match. "Swede, we're hit!" Frank shouts as 20 rounds graze the wing, the sonic booms deafening. Vejtasa's heart lurches, but he keeps dodging, refusing to surrender. The Zeros are frustrated, their prey slipping away time and again. One charges too close, impatient, and Vejtasa seizes the moment. He yanks the stick, aligns his guns, and fires. The .50 calibers rip through the Zero's fuselage, sending it spiraling in flames. "Second Zero down," Frank gasps, disbelief in his voice. One enemy remains, but this pilot is cautious, cunning. "He's on our tail," Frank warns. Vejtasa pulls hard, turning beyond the Dauntless's limits, but the Zero matches him, refusing to overshoot. The Japanese pilot holds fire, closing in tight. Vejtasa's stomach drops. He's out of ammo. He's going to ram us. "Frank, brace yourself." Vejtasa slams the throttle, trying to outrun the Zero, but it's futile. The enemy is faster, closing the gap. Then the Zero opens fire, rounds tearing into the Dauntless's wings and tail. Vejtasa's heart stops as he looks back. Frank is slumped over, unconscious from the G-forces. Alone, Vejtasa engages the air brakes, praying to force an overshoot. The Zero's pilot anticipates, cutting speed and weaving into a scissor maneuver. Vejtasa mirrors him, the two planes locked in a deadly dance, crisscrossing the sky inches apart. The Dauntless shudders as the Zero's wing clips it, metal screaming, debris flying. For a heartbeat, Vejtasa thinks it's over. His hands grip the stick, instinct screaming. Miraculously, the Dauntless responds, still airborne. Below, the Zero dives away, trailing smoke. Vejtasa's breath catches. "Swede, you did it!" Frank's groggy voice crackles through, alive. The sky falls silent. The Zeros are gone. Against all odds, outgunned, outnumbered, outmatched, Vejtasa and Frank have survived. Exhausted, battered, but unbroken, they turn for home, the weight of their victory sinking in. Lieutenant Stanley Swede, Vejtasa's courage and ingenuity that day would earn him his second Navy Cross. His superiors, awestruck by his feat, offered him a chance to pilot a fighter plane, an offer he seized with pride. In the crucible of the Pacific skies, Vejtasa didn't just fight. He defied fate, turning a lumbering bomber into a weapon of legend.